Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, September 9th. Today we will have plenty of impacts to fire potential along with tomorrow. Today we'll continue with the smoke impacts over the north, but really the greater story today will be the increase in thunderstorms from the south. We will see mostly dry thunderstorms developing along parts of the Sierra Front into far northwest Nevada today. These thunderstorms will be moving fairly quickly. They will be on the isolated side for coverage, but again, mostly on the dry side. We will have an increase in winds over central and eastern Nevada, with also some isolated thunderstorms in the far south and also over parts of eastern Nevada. Another day of breezy winds over parts of central and eastern Idaho, so these will be accompanied by low relative humidity, so an increase in fire potential both in the north from the winds and also over parts of Nevada for the lightning and the increase in winds. As we move into Friday, especially Thursday night and Friday, we'll likely see thunderstorms initially Thursday night into Friday morning over parts of the northern Sierra Front into northwest Nevada, and then by Friday afternoon these thunderstorms should push further east and increase over parts of northern and eastern Nevada and also up into Idaho. These thunderstorms across Idaho will certainly have some moisture with them, along with a more significant increase in humidity, but they will be moving fairly quickly, so still expect new initial attack up across Idaho as well, due to how dry the fuels are. Fuels have been extremely dry, especially over the western half of the Great Basin, and in some areas over western and northern Nevada. Fuels are the driest they've been all fire season. So as we move into Friday, again, we'll have some isolated thunderstorms across Utah, and by Saturday, these thunderstorms will mainly move over the eastern half rather, of the Great Basin. Temperatures will also be cooling from the record temperatures we've been seeing. Will be cooling as a cold front moves through going into late week into the weekend. Our smoke forecast again shows really very little change. Smoke impacts across the northern third or half of the Great Basin. We'll see some improvement tomorrow just with the moisture and the increase in winds, and then similar conditions aloft as well as the surface. We've had no precipitation or lightning over the last 24 hours. We did have some lightning strikes in northwest Arizona just about to cross into our geographic area yesterday, but we will see that greater increase today. Light initial attack across the Great Basin with just a few new smaller fires reported. And looking at our percent of normal precipitation over the last 1 to 2 weeks, and again we are seeing those extreme dry conditions over the last at least 2 weeks over much of Idaho and the western and northern half of Nevada and even over parts of northern Utah. And we are seeing this represented in our current ERCs. ERCs have been on the rise across all areas of the Great Basin and are most critical across western and northern Nevada up into southwest and central Idaho, where ERCs are now above the 90th or 97th percentile. ERCs have also been on the rise across Utah, even in parts of southern areas, and we are seeing ERCs generally above normal, or return to above normal, even over southern and eastern Nevada and over parts of central and northern Utah. Looking at a couple of our ERC charts, in the south where ERCs have been on the rise, again are well above normal for the time of year. Still below what we did see in the peak fire season, but again, well above normal for this time of year, and even in some areas near records over eastern Nevada. It's, however, over the Sierra Front into northwest Nevada and up into Idaho, where the ERCs have returned to record levels, and again are even higher than what we saw earlier in the fire season in some areas. So very critical situation with respect to the fuel moisture across especially the western half of the Great Basin. The satellite picture for today shows the ridge of high pressure dominating the southwest. So again, that's a perfect situation for moisture to return around that high pressure over to Nevada today. So we will see that return of thunderstorms. Then there's also the trough off the west coast, which will be moving eastward, and this will interact with that moisture and really increase thunderstorm activity over the next 24 to 36 hours. As we move into later today, again, you can see the moisture circling around that high pressure, and that will increase thunderstorms over the Sierra Front and northwest Nevada today. So we do have high risk for that lightning today, which is also going to be occurring in parts of California and Oregon. We also continued the high risk for the gusty winds and low relative humidity, mainly for central and parts of eastern Idaho today. Looking at the relative humidity, you can see single digits to low teens across much of the area. And today, winds will be on the rise over parts of central Nevada, but again, only gusting mainly in the 20s, possibly around 30 miles per hour, also over the southern Sierra Front. And then the gusty winds, again, continuing with the drier conditions up in Idaho as well, which is certainly where we do have some fire activity. As we move into this afternoon, again, we are expecting that lightning to develop along western parts of Nevada, Also, we'll see some isolated activity over parts of eastern Nevada and down in the far south in parts of the Arizona Strip. As we move into Friday, that trough of low pressure off the west coast moves eastward, interacting with this moisture. So then again, we are expecting a greater increase of thunderstorms going into Friday afternoon in the north. However, we'll also have some early morning lightning over parts of northwest Nevada down into northern areas of the Sierra Front. So again, we'll have that early morning lightning, but it will be quickly replaced by breezier and drier conditions. So we do have a high risk for gusty winds and low relative humidity behind the lightning along the Sierra Front, but also a greater increase of high risk for lightning over much of the rest of northwest and northern Nevada as that thunderstorm activity does expand and increase through the afternoon. Up north into Idaho, we will have plenty of lightning activity. It will be moving fairly quickly, but again, much greater moisture chances up there. There will be some areas of wetting rains, but also just an increase in relative humidity. Looking at the relative humidity on Friday, again, you can see much of the humidity up in Idaho remaining above 30 or 40%. Even down into northern Nevada, we will see relative humidity between about 25 and 30% during the afternoon, but still with the lightning activity and the dry fuels, there'll still be a risk for a new initial attack and the threat for large fires. And you can see over northwest Nevada down into the Sierra Front that increase in winds with the drier conditions. Relative humidities will be marginal, more in the 15 to 20% range. But again, with the recent lightning, how critical the fuel moistures are, especially in our larger fuels, the sagebrush, the pinyon juniper, and the timber, areas that won't necessarily respond to the increase in relative humidity quickly, we'll see those increase in winds and that continued increased fire potential. So Friday morning, again, we are expecting those thunderstorms along the northern Sierra Front up into northwest Nevada. Again, this will be early Friday morning. And then by Friday afternoon, those thunderstorms expand and push further east. We also have some gusty wind conditions with some marginal relative humidity for central and eastern Nevada. But again, with the dryness of the fuels that they've seen recently and the increase in the winds and the recent lightning, that will still be a concern. So for Saturday, we will see drier conditions push across the Great Basin. We will see temperatures cooling and relative humidity remain more elevated in the north. So again, you can see relative humidity between about 20 and 30% over Idaho, Wyoming, and the northern half of Utah. We will see drier conditions with teens relative humidity across Nevada. Winds will be decreasing but still remain breezy over the southern and eastern half of the Great Basin on Saturday. And any lightning activity will likely remain over the eastern areas of the Great Basin. So temperatures, again, today will remain fairly hot, still excessive heat warnings in the far south, and temperatures in the 90s over much of Nevada, Utah, and Idaho. These will be dropping significantly by Friday as that cold front moves through. Temperatures will drop 15 to 20 degrees in some areas in the far north, and will drop about 10 degrees over parts of western and northern Nevada. Forecast amounts of precipitation are shown here. Again, the better chances of wetting rains with these storms will be over parts of central and eastern Idaho into far northern Nevada. But again, these storms will be moving fairly quickly, so some areas will certainly see lighter amounts of precipitation. And again, you can see down into northern Utah and central Nevada, and even in the far south, lighter amounts as well. As we go into Sunday into next week, we will see a drier pattern return, so significant fire potential will be on the rise again, but returning to low to moderate. We move into Monday and Tuesday, again, drier conditions, so increasing temperatures and lower relative humidity will return, and we will see that significant fire potential return again to the low to moderate category with more brown and yellow on the map than green. 7-day total precip is really no different than the 3-day, as all thunderstorms will be occurring here in the next few days. And the 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us into the third week of September, shows warmer and drier conditions for much of the Great Basin, and storms will be moving into the Pacific Northwest and into Idaho, so this may bring some moisture to the north, along with some cooler temperatures, but these systems also tend to bring gustier winds, so we will see likely a windier period going into the latter half of September with these cold fronts. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.